Hello boys. Hello boys. No, excuse me. No, I am supposed to be making a video. So it's not very helpful, is it? So all the comments are going to be about you now, not the blooming bike, aren't they? Eh? Good afternoon. I took a quick ride out this morning. I thought, do you know what, I've been asked a few questions about packing for motorcycle trips. That season is coming up upon us, so why not grab the panniers, off we go, pack as if I'm going on a trip, show you how I pack, what I do. Been doing this for about 20 years now, so I've become pretty refined in what I take and probably more importantly what I don't take. Let's get straight into it, because I'll try and keep this as concise as possible on this video, so I'll fire a lot of stuff at you pretty quickly. Hopefully you'll pick up something that's of use. These are just my opinions. Everybody will have their own opinions. Everybody will have stuff they prefer to take, the luxury bits and pieces. Get out there, enjoy it. I hope this is useful. I'll start with my top box. Don't keep a huge amount in my top box. It tends to be my kind of chuck stuff in things. So basically my electrics kit. So that's all the stuff for my cameras and hard drives and 360 camera, extra batteries. This is a useful little thing. That's the camp light. So it plugs into this battery pack and it's an instant torch. So just saves that little bit of space, because it's all about space versus comfort versus features. So everything's a compromise, but it's trying to get everything you need in a decently small space. So that's the electrics bit. That'll vary for everybody. This is my toolkit. There's another video floating about somewhere on my toolkit. It's quite a long time ago. It hasn't really changed. The one piece of advice I'd give on the toolkit is, every time you do any little fiddly bits on your bike, you take a side panel off just to install a bit of electrics, whatever you do, always and only ever use this toolkit. And if there's a tool missing, throw it in, and then when you're out on the road, you can pretty much get every panel off. You can get to every little bits and piece as you go. That's my toolkit, dead easy. And have a look on the old videos if you want a bit more info on what's in there. The other thing I'd probably good time to point out at this point is I have got a motorcycle camping checklist. I'm a bit geeky like that. It's an Excel spreadsheet I've just put together over years and years, change it every year as I buy bits of kit, get rid of old bits of kit. I'll try and include that as a download in the links below. If I can't do that, there's a screenshot coming right now, and you can use that screenshot to at least scribble some stuff down that might be useful. Everything on there is stuff that I genuinely use. It's got better and better all the time as I go. I tend to come back from a trip, and if I haven't used it, I go, not taking that again. There's some stuff you have to take. That's the emergency stuff. Even though you don't have to, you could just sit at the side of the road. You could just pray for an ambulance. Your choice. But there you go. So that's my top box. Pretty simple stuff. Tend to have other little bits and pieces in there, things like disc locks, super friendly Lucky Charms in there, this kind of bits and pieces. It's kind of the go and easily grab it. So that's top box done. One of the fundamentals here is I always have a wet pannier and a dry pannier. I know that probably makes sense, but when you're out on the roads, especially when it rains, stuff will get wet. In fact, only when it rains. So that tends to be my wet pannier. So that's the stuff I don't mind getting wet. If it is a bit damp and a bit miserable, it doesn't really make much difference. Other stuff has to stay dry. That's things like the sleeping bags, the roll mats. So that goes in my dry pannier, ready to just pull out, get into the tent, keep yourself warm, comfy, snug. The last thing you want to be doing is going to bed in a damp, down sleeping bag after a long day on the road, because trust me, it is miserable. So in my wet pannier, pair of shoes. A bit of luxury for me, that's the Helinox camping chair. It folds pretty compact, but it all unfolds as well into a really nice, comfortable chair. So you could just sit on a pannier, if you're stuck for space, and you just take a pannier off, sit on it, or have a little foam mat on the top. Loads of different ways you can do it, but that's my little bit of luxury. Hip flask, always essential. This one's got a built-in cup, so you can mix a long drink, or you can mix a short drink. So pretty useful. That tends to be my whiskey glass and my whiskey bottle. Onto the brew kit. So this is a bit where this has really become my throw it into, and I don't just keep this in the bike, I'll quite often throw this into the car or into the camper van and can just, it's dead easy. All of that will go in a rucksack for a cup of tea when you're out on a picnic. All you need is the water. So I've got, this is an MSR titanium kettle, but any kind of thing will do. So I like it because it's neat, it's small, it's light, it's big enough for me to make a pot noodle in it, or when I'm, sort of very quick meal when I'm out on the road. Perfect for a cup of tea or coffee. In fact, perfect enough for 2 people for a cup of tea, so you can boil it up as one kettle, give the other person their mug as well. And in fact, that's one of the other things I would say. This is purely packing for one person, just me out on the road on my own. If you're going as a group, just divvy up the stuff between you. It's pointless taking 4 first aid kits when 4 people are going, 4 toolkits when 4 people are going. So that is just a titanium kettle with a gas stove in it, microfiber cloth. Not only does it stop the gas rattling, but also you're going to need a cloth. This brew kit itself is really simple. That's just a silicone, everything you like. I can poach an egg in that. I can use it to hold a hot cup or a hot pan. Titanium spork. Dave used to take the piss out of me for having a titanium spork until he melted his plastic one, and then he laughed no more. Lighter. Just be aware of the lighter. I always take a fire steel as well, and there's a couple of reasons. I mean, fire steel is great because you can always just get a flame on it. It's great for lighting a fire and a push. Those things, they will run out. They also don't perform very well at altitude. So if you're rising up to the top of the Alps and you go to light your stove, some of these won't work, particularly the cheapy Bic lighters. You just won't get a flame out of it. A little bit of washing up liquid, not 100% necessary. A couple of cup of soups, a little thing to clean the pan, just in case I want to get a real fire going. Windshield for the stove. Stove itself, I use an MSR pocket rocket. It's so compact and easy, it just goes to absolutely nothing, but ever so efficient. Only downside of these is they're called a pocket rocket for a reason. It'll wake the entire campsite when you put a brew on at 7 o'clock in the morning. All the necessary coffee sachets. That's the remains of the one I had last week. That's just a little tool to burst the canister when it's empty. That is a stand stabiliser, so it just fits on the bottom of the stove for the gas canister, so you can have a nice stable stove with the pot on top. It packs so small, it's a worthy little item. You haven't got to work very hard though, just to find a flat space. Again, luxury item people choose. Tongs, these are some fancy Swiss thing that I probably paid way too much money for basically 2 little bits of pressed metal. I don't think they're even titanium. I think I paid about £5 just in customs just to get them in. Swiss Advanced they are, but they're pretty. And you can shoot. These are good for skewers, for forks, but also what I like about them is when you are cooking, especially if you've got a little open fire going, you can just use them as a pair of tongs. That is a little lip. Problem with these things, if you've got it on a kettle, if you've got it on the stove, it can get absolutely red hot on the edge. So just one of these little silicone clip covers. I actually made this myself up, I think, out of stuff called Sugru, S-U-G-R-U. It's like a mouldable silicone you can use. Don't know why I've got a tampon in. Oh, I know I've got a tampon in there. All comes back to me. Perfect for fire lighting. Just break it up, cotton wool, and it expands. So a great little bit of easy way to get a real fire going in the middle of nowhere, if you haven't got your lighter or you can't find any kindling. So that's it for the brew kit. Only other things left in the wet pannier is tent pegs. Tent. So I've got an MSR Hubba Hubba. Love this tent. It's been all over Europe with me many times. It's always stood up to the rigours of Europe, from top of the Alps down to the Dordogne and wherever else we've been. I also threw some heavy duty zip ties in the bottom there because you never know when you're going to need it. Onto the dry pannier. So I've in the dry pannier, simple stuff. First aid kit. Again, it's a practical first aid kit. This is really the stuff. It's the ibuprofen, the antacids, the triangular bandage. There's a little sewing kit in there. A few bandages, sterile wipes. Eye wash is one I'd recommend when you take an eye. Get something. It's one of those things that can just stop you and make you miserable on the road. Whereas if you can just pop that open, give it sorted off again. Then into the sleeping stuff. That's my travel pillow. This is again between comfort and space. It's super compact, really comfortable. Love that thing. Only costs about 10 quid. Sleeping bag. Probably one of the most important bits of kit you'll take. I happen to have the mountain equipment 0350. God knows, it's at least 10 years old now. It's good down to -5, and you can see how small it packs. So, and it is down. I mean, down is brilliant, and it's not cheap, but it is brilliant as long as it stays dry. It's absolutely rubbish when it gets wet, 'cause it just lets the cold straight through. Then wash kit, so there's all sorts of bits and pieces in there. No need to go into great personal detail on that, but you've got everything from antiseptic to insect repellent to have a look at the packing list. And little travel towel. The good thing about the travel towel is it's just that, it's travel, and it's towel. The only other thing I've not got there, which would easily fit in, it's about that big, is the sleeping mat. I've gone for Thermarest Neo Air. There's no foam in them, so they pack incredibly small, but I think that they're loaded with down, so they are super warm and super insulated. So that is actually it. So I hope that's useful. All of that has gone on. I had at least half a pannier empty there for clothes, and as far as clothes go, I tend to take a pair of zip-off trousers, so they zip off to shorts, and if I've got room I'll throw a pair of jeans in. Quick tip, no need to take 7 days worth of underwear for a 7-day trip, just take 3 or 4 days and just do a bit of washing either in the hotel room or the campsite halfway around. It'll be dry in a few hours, or you go out for dinner or cook your dinner. Don't dry them too close to the fire or you'll have smoke plants. Other stuff, again, one pair of trousers is actually pretty much fine, because it sounds really bad, but if you're spending best part of 12 hours a day in your riding kit, you're actually spending very little time in your evening stuff. So you don't actually have to take a huge amount, as long as you don't mind looking the same in every single photo that's taken, looking the same in every single video that's taken. I tend to get away with a couple of t-shirts, one shirt, one pair of zip-off shorts, maybe another pair of shorts as well, one pair of socks, ample, because like I say, you're only using it for 2 or 3 hours a day. That's it. So no doubt loads of questions will be in the comments below. I will do my best to answer all of them. Feel free to shout away about questions on all of this stuff, and most important thing is, I know everybody will do it differently, but that's my really quick fire how I pack for a trip. So thanks all, and hopefully see you all out on the road soon. Come on then, let's go.